if you've never unfurled a vine at about 7:45 a.m. on a weekday on your balcony, I mean, I don't know if this is going to speak to you. I mean, yeah, my case about the vine just didn't really have much standing, you know, and if you're just catching up, if you're new to the podcast, imagine coming in at this point, absolutely wild. But if you're new, basically my building was painting and they were going to repaint my balcony, and it's like, this is the thing. I thought they were painting the balcony white. It's, I guess, black. And the only reason why I was open to just sort of detaching my vine from its natural habitat was I was like, oh, it would actually look really good painted white, you know? And it's like, I don't know where I got that from. The second they said they were painting the balcony, I just made up that it was going to be white. And then, so the day they're painting it, I was leaving. So I went outside and was passing my balcony. They're on the balcony and I see them painting it, and it looks kind of clear. It doesn't look white, okay? And I'm like, okay. In my head, I'm like, all right, that's just a primer. You know, they're priming it to paint it white. It's like, I don't know anything about painting, but I'm going to assume you need a primer. I come back, this thing is pitch black. I'm like, oh, you guys just painted it black? You guys just repainted it black. It's like, that's why I delicately and with so much care and precision had to untangle my extremely wrapped vine to repaint it black. It's like, honestly, I'm considering going to law school just to become a lawyer and sue them. It's like, seriously. Okay, but yeah, I thought they were gonna paint it white. So it's it's Wednesday morning. It's the day that they're we're doing your balcony. I wake up at 7:30. I'm like, oh my God, I haven't taken my vine off, because in my head I was like, okay, I guess I'll just cut it. You know, it's and maybe it will be better for it, whatever. And then once the moment was there, I was just like, I cannot cut this. It just seems inhumane. So I'm like, all right, let me see what I can do about untangling. I mean, this bitch was wrapped every which way. It was wrapped around my other flowers. It was wrapped around the banisters. This thing had really gone to work. And in fact, it had put in overtime, you know? Some of the other vines had clocked out and they were like, all right, we're going to take this through the night. And they were like, we think you're wrapped enough. And they were like, no. You haven't seen anything. So yeah, luckily I wasn't able to unwrap it with little to no casualties, but now the thing is I gotta put this thing back and retrain its ass. It's like, oh my God, as if I don't have enough on my plate. Let me just retrain a vine. Let me just summon the strength to teach an old dog the same tricks it already knows. All right, welcome to episode 96. Oh boy. All right. So let me set the scene. I had just gone on a hike. I mean, I don't want to be saying these words. It's just this is the truth. I went on a hike, and okay, a few episodes ago I had been wanting pumpkin pie, and I swear I'm not going to talk about food a lot this episode. I'm really freaking on one. Well, I might talk about it a little, but it was after this hike, and I was just like, I need a piece of pumpkin pie. I don't know what to tell anyone at this point. I had one piece on Thanksgiving and I've been dreaming about it ever since. So I am okay, where do I go? It's I don't trust Trader Joe's anymore. And I guess that guy from Trader Joe's really had an effect on me, because I was I guess I'm taking my ass to Vons. I pull into Vons and it's just a whole situation. This is a parking lot with many other things. It's a very large parking lot. It's not covered. It's just free, open, easy. Or so I thought. I get in, there's a man there, and I'm like, all right, what's happening now? It's what could possibly be happening now? He's to the cars in front of me. He's like, they all want to go right. They all want to go towards Vaughn's. And he's like, no, you guys got to go left. And we're like, no one wants to go left. Like, we all want to go right. We have to go left. There's cones. He's standing there. It's mayhem. And like, so I turn left and I'm like, dude, fuck Vaughn's. I'm out. You know, like, I was just like, this is fucked up. Like, I didn't want to put in this much effort, you know? And it's just so crazy. It's like, it's just everything sort of something. It's like, you think you can just waltz into a Vaughn's parking lot and think everything's gonna go your way. Think again. You know, it's like I pulled into Vaughn's and they were like, how bad do you want it? And I was like, I guess not bad enough, you know, because I want to leave immediately. I no longer want to pursue this because it's like, parking shouldn't be hard right now. It shouldn't be hard. It's a weekday. It's like 1 p.m. What's going on? So I like turn left. I'm like, oh God, I gotta get out of here. I then pull. It's really hard to explain the ins and outs. I mean, it's like, I don't know. Basically, I could turn left and be even farther from Vaughn's, or I could turn right, which is the wrong way to go. There's all these arrows like pointing the opposite way I was going. And I like, at first I just like accepted that. Like, I was like, all right, I can't go down this way. And then I was like, what am I doing? I was like, no one's even around. No one's coming this way. It's like, of course I can go down there for 1 second. So I go down the alley, that's the wrong way. I'm just like, Jesus Christ, what am I doing? I'm sweating. I'm just like, all right, I gotta get to Vaughn's. Like, cause I don't know, something clicked in me and I was like, wow, I'm really just gonna accept this. Like, I'm really coming into Vaughn's. I'm presented with one tiny challenge and that's all it takes for me to crumble. I'm like, no, absolutely not. I will see this through. I will step into Vaughn's. It's been a minute, but you know, it's good to stop by every now and again. So finally, and it was difficult, I get a spot. Like, there's no spots because it's just like, I don't know what's going on in the parking lot. Like, there's half the spots available that usually are. There's cones everywhere. Oh, God. I find a spot. I get into Vaughn's. I don't know. I guess because my dad got a pumpkin pie from Costco and it was $5.99 and it was huge and it's the best pumpkin pie on earth. I go into Vaughn's. I just wanted an individual slice. You know, I'm not trying to have a whole pie. They didn't have that. The only thing they had was a whole pie and it was $11.99. And I was just like, I'm just not trying to drop like $13 right now on a pumpkin pie. Like, it's like, because I don't even want it, first of all. And it's like, that's just like, I thought we were doing like a $3.45 situation, you know, like $3.45 for a slice. And I was just like, I'm not paying this and I'm not getting it. Oh, God. Yeah. And then I was just like in Vaughn's and I was just like, why did I do this? Like, I've wasted so much time parking. They don't even have pumpkin pie. And then I saw it, the brown bread from Cheesecake Factory. And I was like, okay, I'm actually offended that no one told me this was for sale. And I'm starting a new case as a lawyer and I'll be suing Vaughn's and everyone who comes here for not telling me that they serve this here. I had no idea you could purchase the brown bread from Cheesecake Factory. Like, I walked up to it and I was like, is this real? Like, I touched it. I was like, is this real? Am I dreaming? And I was like, all right, I have to get this. And they had 3 different ways they were presenting the brown bread. I'm like, I'm not going to talk about food. We're not even 10 minutes in. I'm like, pumpkin pie, the brown bread from Cheesecake Factory. But it's like, who doesn't love the brown bread from Cheesecake Factory? And it's like, I realized it is actually called the brown bread from Cheesecake Factory. Like, I thought that was just like something I was saying. It's like, no, that's actually its title. That's its identity. So they had 3 different takes on it. They had just one loaf, you know, just your standard loaf. And I was like, you know, I'm not trying to get that crazy. I'm not trying to eat brown bread for a week. And then they had one with like 2 little rolls in it. It was more like a to-go pack. And then they had another one that had like 7 or 8 really interesting sized bread rolls. You know, it's like they were a little larger than they should have been for an individual size. I don't know. I bought them. They were fine. I don't know. It's like maybe you just got to be in the ambiance of Cheesecake Factory, you know, and have some sort of lettuce wrap appetizer on the way to really make that bread sing, because I just wasn't hearing it. I wasn't hearing the notes. All right, let's move on. I don't know. It's been tough lately. It's like truly yesterday, I'll pull into a grocery store parking lot and I'll just sit there. And I truly am just like, I don't know if I have another one in me. You know, it's like, I just don't know if I have what it takes to just like get in there, you know, like inspect a couple avocados, be like, does the salmon look good today? What's up with the quinoa tortillas? Are they on sale? You know, it's like, I just don't know if I have another one in me. And it's just like, you know, invariably, and I don't know if that's the right way to use it right now, but let's just keep going. And I'll double down. Invariably, I'm just like, I guess I'm going in. You know, it's like, I guess I need food at some point. It's I don't know. I've been finding it really tough lately to muster, and I know I'm obviously being dramatic right now, but it is true. It's like, I don't know if I can do this one more time. Get in the line. All right, get out my Whole Foods app if I'm there. You know, it's just like, oh boy. Scan my own shit. You know, I'm just like, I don't know. Is this the organic one? I don't know. I'm going to say no. I'm going to give myself that leeway. Last thing I'll say about grocery stores, since we're on the subject, and it's like, let's just have it all clean. Let's have it all together, you know, one subject. Okay, so I go to Trader Joe's. You know, when you just sometimes every 30 times I go to Trader Joe's, I'll just spend way more money than I usually do. And I just never know when it's coming. Usually when I go to Trader Joe's, I'm doing I'm shocked when it's in the 30s. I'm like, damn, did I get cashews? You know, it's like, it's usually not that high because I guess don't buy as much of my stuff from Trader Joe's. It's more this and that, bananas, whatever. It's like, it's usually just not amounting to much. But I had to go to Trader Joe's. I was getting stuff for my sister as well because she had COVID. And then I don't know. Okay, so no, this is what it was. I was getting stuff for her. So she had gave me her list, and it's like, her list is just different from mine, you know? So it's like, I'm looking at her list, she wants these freaking cheese slices. And I'm like, the cheese section? I don't ever go in the cheese section anymore because I really don't eat cheese. I go in the cheese section, they have so much stuff. They have all these vegan cheese. I'm like, Trader Joe's, once again, why didn't anyone tell me? It's crazy. So I'm looking around there, and I'm just finding new things. I'm finding new dips. I'm just like, wow, I am just so on autopilot. I just come in here and I just get the same shit time and time again. Okay, so I ended up having so much stuff because getting her stuff just inspired me to look at other stuff. So I just had way more than I usually get at Trader Joe's, to the point where I had a basket, but I was just keeping it sort of on the side of an aisle because I couldn't even lift it anymore. So I was just like, this is my basket, everyone. No one observe it, you know, no one move it. I am coming back for it. I was like a hunter. I would go out and forage on, you know, the frozen food section and then come back to it, you know, drop off a couple, what did I get? Some sort of mushroom lasagna situation, pop that in. I'm like, all right, once again, this is my basket. No one worry about it. So by the time I was done, I could not hold my basket. I had all the stuff in my canvas bag that I had brought. No offense. And so I was pushing the basket with my foot. And this guy who was a cashier at the express lane, 12 items or less, was like, oh, here, you can come here. And he started helping me pick up the basket. And I was like, no, sir, you don't understand. I don't have 12 items. I have so many items. And he's like, it's okay. And he's like, you know, we look around. There's no one in line for the express aisle. for the express checkout, and there's even 2 of them doing express checkout. So I'm like, all right. I'm like, I know you might think this is all I have in this basket. I also have a whole nother load in this canvas bag. And he's like, it's all right. And I'm like, okay. So my boyfriend had asked me if I could get him some beer. So I was like, all right. I was like, can I just grab some beer really quick? Okay. I go get it. I come back. He's frantically scanning things. Like, he's like, okay, this bitch wasn't lying. Like, she has a lot of stuff. And now a line has formed. And I'm like, wow, he doesn't look bad, even though he was the one who told me it was okay to come here and, in fact, encouraged me. I look like a freaking bitch because these people are standing behind me with 3 things, and I actually have like 60 things. And I'm just like, oh my God, there's no time to explain to them the situation. I give him the beer, and I'm like waiting for him to card me. He doesn't. And I'm like, okay, I kind of forget about it because there's a lot going on. I'm embarrassed about the people behind me because it looks like I just don't give a shit about anyone else. I'm like, I'm checking out even though I could walk 1 lane over and not be in an express lane. But this guy really, you know, and I guess it's like I'm tempted to blame it on him, but this is where I just have to take responsibility. It's like ultimately I have control over my life. It's like he told me it was okay that I could come in his lane and it was fine, but it's like I know better. I know I had too much stuff even though I told him that too. It's like, I mean, it is his fault, but it's also mine ultimately at the end of the day. So I was just like really caught up, really just like feeling bad. And he wasn't exactly making me feel fine about it. You know, it's just like, once again, I know we're in this together, but you sort of pushed this. You know, it's like you wanted this. And now it's like you're not, it's like there's people behind me, they're probably livid at me, and you're just like nowhere to be found. Like, he's MIA. He's not even like asking me like, how are your holidays? You know, it's like he's not asking me shit. He's just scanning products that I don't even recognize. Like, I'm just like, is this my bag? Like, it's crazy, which is getting a few different items will do. And so finally he finishes it all, and like I grab my stuff, I go to my car, and I'm like, oh my God. And then I get in my car and I remember, I'm like, oh, he didn't card me. And I know this is like a classic thing, but it's just like, I've never not been carded. You know, it's like, I just feel like unless you're like 80, people card you. You know, it's like, unless you're fully like an elderly person, it's like, they're just going to be on the safe side and card you. So I'm like, did he think there was no way I was 21? Or was he just so frazzled and overwhelmed by the moment as well and feeling an incredible amount of guilt since he coaxed me into this precarious situation? It's like, we'll never know. We just won't know. I did end up getting stuck in my garage. I can't believe it. It's like I was really playing with fire. It's like my thing fully died on Thanksgiving night, and then somehow it worked the next day, and I was just living my life as if that never happened. Okay, I'm heading to go on a hike with my mom. It's the morning. Have a lot going on. I usually don't take my lemon water to go, but I really wanted it. Really, you know, just kind of a risky move because I don't put it in like a thermos. I just have it in an open mug. So I like walk down to my garage. I'm already kind of late. I pull out, I press my garage opener. It doesn't go. And I'm like, oh God. I press it again. It doesn't go. I'm just like, all right, this is so fucked up. I get out of the car, I walk back up. The thing about having an underground garage is my phone reception dies and it doesn't come back for like 6 minutes. So if I'm going anywhere with my GPS that I don't know where I'm going, I have to start it before I go down in my garage because then it will continue when I rise up. But if I don't do that, if I just go down in my garage, pull out and start driving and try to press go on Google Maps, it won't go. There's no reception. So I get out of my car, I have to wait like 3 minutes. I gotta call my mom because I'm like, I don't even know if I can leave, you know? My mom, she does this thing that drives me insane where it's like, cause she walks down to the hike from her house and she doesn't bring her phone. And, you know, it's just like, well, there's been so many times where it's like she gets there a few minutes earlier than I do. I get there and I'm just like, I want to be like, where are you? But you just can't contact her. So finally my reception comes back. I'm calling her, she doesn't answer. And I'm like, oh my God, she's going to actually freak out. She's going to be so scared. Like, she's going to think something happened to me. I'm calling her. I'm like, there's no point. She already left her house. Finally, I was able to get out. My boyfriend put in a new battery that I didn't even know we had into my remote control, and it worked. And so I was like 20 minutes late. I was thinking my mom was going to call the cops because one time when I was like in 7th grade, I think, I forget the logistics of the situation. Oh, I was getting a ride home with my friend's older sister who was like a junior or senior at the time, and it's like juniors and seniors are so cool, like she's so cool, and I was like, oh my God, like I can't believe I'm like going in her car, like I'm so popular, etc. So as we're going home, it was like me, my friend, and maybe someone else, and she's like, oh my gosh, should we stop and get frozen yogurt? And, you know, I'm not going to be like, no, I'm good. But I also didn't think it was a big deal. I was like, yeah, I love frozen yogurt. We go to get frozen yogurt. It's so fun. We're all just like sitting outside having the best time. And I'm like, oh my God, I can't even believe this is happening. This is so cool. I come home. We drive to my house. She pulls into my driveway. My sister bursts out of the house sobbing. My mom comes out of the house on the phone with the police. She's on the phone with the police. And she's like, she just got here. She's here. Never mind, officer. Thank you. She's here. I swear I was like 30 minutes later than I would have normally been. Like, my sister was on the ground sobbing. My mom was screaming at me. And it was just like, wow, this really fun time. Like, I was like, wow, this is such a cool memory, like I just like went out to get frozen yogurt with like, this upperclassman, like whatever. And then it was just all absolutely destroyed in an instant. So I'm a little bit traumatized from that. So when I couldn't reach my mom and I wasn't going to be at the hike, I was like, she might call the FBI. Okay. Finally, I got my garage door opener. I got to the hike. I was like, I don't know what to do. I actually went to my mom's house. She wasn't there. So I was like, I guess I'm just going to go on the hike, And I was like, okay, so this bitch just went on the hike. She doesn't care at all. My mom wasn't stressed at all. She just went on the hike. I wasn't there, and she's like, fuck her, and just started walking. So I'm like waiting for her to call me. Like, I'm just waiting for my phone to ring, signifying that she got home from the hike and being like, where are you? I get off the hike. I'm walking back to the parking lot. I call her. She doesn't answer. I'm like, wow, so we must have been so, like, no, I must have been so not far behind her. Like, it's crazy. I was 1 second away from my car. I call her again. She answers. She's like, so casual. She's like, what happened? I'm like, you're not freaking out or mad? She's like, I thought about it. I waited for you. You didn't come. I just figured you got caught up. And yeah, I just figured I'd start walking. And then halfway through the hike, I thought, oh, what if something happened to her? And I'm like, all right. It's like, I am relieved that we didn't open up a case with the CIA, but also it's like a little bit offensive that she was just like, she's fine. Not sure if that story's translating, but that's neither here nor there. That's neither here or there. Oh my God. Okay. So I have League Pass, obviously. Okay. So basketball's been going for about 6 weeks. I usually watch on my TV. I open League Pass. For some reason, it doesn't work 90% of the time. Like, I'll go click on a game and it just will not come up. Like, the screen just goes blank and I'm just like, what's going on? And I try it 1,000 times and it doesn't work. It just does not work. sometimes by some miracle I'll click on a game and it will just go. And I'm like, what did I do differently? It's so confusing. And my boyfriend's like, why don't you like call them? And like, this is an association again where it's like, I don't know where I got this. It's like just how I assumed the balcony was going to be painted white. I don't know why. I just assumed there was no solution to this problem. Like, I was like, no, it's just like, I don't know. It doesn't work on our TV. Like, it's fucked up. It can't be fixed. One night, the other night, I couldn't take it anymore. Like, I was like, this is insane. I was like, why am I paying for this if it doesn't work? It doesn't work on my computer. It only works on my phone. But it's tough to watch like an entire basketball game on your phone, you know. Sometimes I like to have it on in the background, you know, and be doing work. So I'm like, this is wild. I call them. Somehow they're open at like 10 p.m. at night. I was like, thank you. I call them and I'm like, hey, this is the situation. And I was like kind of freaking out. And he's like not stressing at all. I'm like, still, I'm just feeling like there's no solution. Basically, bottom line, this doesn't need to be so long. All I had to do, okay, so you're supposed to click on the game. He's like, if you have a Roku, this is what happens. You click on the game, it will go black. It won't come up. Then all you do is press enter again and it will play the game. And I'm like, no, you're joking me. It can't be that simple. Sure enough, I go to a game, it goes black, doesn't play. I click enter, it immediately comes on. And I'm like, I've been sitting here for 6 weeks. All I do is try to play a game. I exit in and out of the app 1,000 times. I go to Netflix to try to trick it, and then I go back to NBA, and then it doesn't work. So I turn my TV off, and then I turn it on, and then I try it again. All I had to do was press one button. I was one button away from just so little stress and frustration. And I was like, wow, is that not like a metaphor for life? Like, here I am just thinking it's like, oh, this is the way it's got to be. Like, it's got to be a struggle. It's got to be stressful. It's got to be this. It's got to be that. It's like, wow, I was one click away from just ease, from just a better way of living. And that's just like a real lesson learned. It's like, you got to ask. And it's so weird because usually I do ask stuff, you know, like when something's not working, I'm like, all right, let's call them. Let's do this. Let's do that. I don't know why in my head I was just like, this is a done deal. Like, it doesn't work on my TV, and that is what it is. I've said a lot here today, but at the same time, I don't know quite what I said. I overheard this girl the other day, and she was like talking to her friend, and she's like, yeah, I'm gonna start doing hot yoga again in the new year. I'm gonna really like, I'm just gonna go back to yoga in the new year. Like, I'm gonna start it again. And no judgment at all, because I'm sure I do this all the time, but in my head, I was just like, so why not just start it now? You know, like, it really just hit me. It's like, it's so silly when it's like you have this idea, you have this notion, you have this thought that's going to make your life better. And you're like, all right, I'll do it in a month. And it's like, well, what about this month? You know, like, what about tomorrow? I don't know. So it's like, that really started me thinking. I mean, I was already thinking, but then I was just like, wow, I'm really thinking now. And I'm going to start like just sort of a cleanse situation. Starting Monday, you know, it's like, obviously I'm not going to get crazy. Like, let's just really live this weekend. But starting Monday, I think that's like 2 days till Christmas. And I'm just going to do a super, super healthy, clean food situation. I mean, I have been off of my rocker. My boyfriend asked me the other day what I wanted for dinner. I couldn't hear him because I was spraying whipped cream directly from the bottle into my mouth. And I wish I was, you know, I wish that wasn't real, but it is. My dad, I think he felt bad about throwing away the pumpkin pie. So like one day he just came over and brought me the whipped cream. And I was like, honestly, I'll take it, you know, and I have been eating, I don't even know if you eat or drink, or it's like, what do you do with whipped cream? I've been consuming whipped cream straight from the tap ever since. And it's so embarrassing because it's like not something you can do subtly. And I don't really get embarrassed in front of my boyfriend ever. It's like we've been together a long time, but like he'll just be working and then he'll just, like, you can't do it quietly. You know, it's like when you spray that from the nozzle, it makes a noise. So it's like it'll just be silent and then it'll just be like, psh, and I'll just be spraying it into my mouth. I mean, one time I seriously did it 45 times. I could not stop, but it was also like, I was like, just so you know, it's not getting in my mouth every time. Like, you have to hold it at such a specific angle for it to come out. So I was like, I know it sounds like I've had about a gallon of whipped cream, and don't get me wrong, I've had at least half, but it's not as much as you think. So yeah, I've just been absolutely on one. So I just want to do like a super clean. It's like, imagine entering the new year and you're not like, all right, let's start, let's get it going. You're already about 2.5 weeks deep. I mean, it's like the fact that I've never thought about this before is highly concerning. It's like, I'm going to do super clean. I'm going to do so much water. And then it's like, come New Year's, I'll just be peaking. Come New Year's Day, I'll be like 2023 is like not even ready for what I'm bringing to the table. And I've already set the table. Like, other people are like, oh, what should we invite this person? Should we use this tablecloth? Should we use this dishware? Should we use these glasses? I'm like, bitch, my table is set. And in fact, I've already consumed a salad and a chicken breast, and I'm feeling phenomenal. You know, that's just where I'm at right now. Tough year looking back, but I don't know, and let me know if anyone would be interested in this. I was thinking of doing sort of like a themed episode before the end of the year, sort of maybe like my top 5 or 8 or 10 just like affirmations or like sayings, and just kind of go off on tangents and how they can relate, and just, I don't know, just try to end the year on a really, really positive and inspiring note. I mean, not that every episode isn't in its own way inspiring, but you know, I don't know. I thought that could be fun. So let me know if that's something you guys would be interested in. And yeah, I don't know. Will I wear this white dress? Like, I feel like if I wear it, people will be like, all right. But I'll just be like, okay, sorry you wore jeans and a fucking flannel. Not my problem. Already defensive, not even there. Don't even know if I'm wearing the dress. All right, it's 5:07 p.m. Insane. It's 5:07. There's a Jazz Nuggets game at 6. Perfect. And then this party doesn't start till 8. I've already done my makeup. I've already done my hair. I potentially have an outfit, although I could see myself not wearing it and really spiraling because I didn't have a plan B. So yeah, we'll see. Ta-ta for now. Thank you. I don't know why this feels like the last episode of the year. It's not. You know, we at least could squeeze a couple more. In. Thank you guys for listening. I just feel like every podcast ends the same. I'm like, thank you guys for listening. Rate, review, subscribe. It's like, we get it, bitch. We get it. Thank you guys so much, and I'll see you next week. Bye.